right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here again at the New York State Hockey Hall of Fame induction ceremony, class of 2024. I'm Matthew Blittner with Sportsology.com, and I'm joined by one of the greatest defensemen in NHL history, also a pretty damn good broadcaster with the Florida Panthers, Denis Potvin, who, by the way, also New Yorkers, Islander fans love you, Ranger fans love to say your name still.
Oh, they love me.
Must be a great life, knowing that everyone still talks about you.
The quick answer is yes, both ways, because none of it is vicious or, none of it is mean, really. At this point, it's softened. There used to be throwing beer bottles at us at the bus, in the early days when we were leaving Madison Square Gardens. But right now, I think they appreciate that we had a great team in the 80s.
Now, tonight, obviously very special, not just about the 1980s, but about you, about your life, your career, what you meant to New York. What does it mean to be part of the New York State Hockey Hall of Fame? You're already in the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto,
right.
But now this is your adopted home state.
Like I said, I was really happy when I was asked, because it really brings it together. I immediately thought, 19 years old, I got into my car, and I drove from Ottawa, Ontario, to Long Island. It was a 10-hour drive, and I'm thinking, as soon as I crossed into New York State, I was thinking of all the old movies I saw about New York, and I got worried about getting my tires stolen and all kinds of stuff. I'm just kidding. But the fact is it was a great change for me at a time when I really needed it. I was 19 years old. I was going into pro hockey. I was with the Islanders. A lot of solid things that happened to me at that time, and now I was just driving to open the door to a whole new life. It was great. That drive I'll never forget.
And tonight, the script got flipped a little bit, and I'm sure a lot of people didn't even recognize it. So the Islanders' first captain was Ed Westfall, and then
right.
you succeeded Ed.
Right.
Tonight, you spoke, and then Ed followed you. Did it feel like a nice complete circle that you followed him and then he followed you to bring it all fully around?
It's very interesting that you notice that, but I'll let you in on what really happened when we saw that, because the lady next to me who had the whole script for tonight and had me speaking before Ed, I said, look, why don't you let Ed go first, And Ed said he didn't want to do that. So 18 said, we'll leave it as is, and that's the way it worked out. But it's very interesting that you notice that, because I was totally committed to giving my captain, the first go at it. And he just said he was very happy with it.
Well, I'm not going to try to compare Rangers to Islanders here, but it is funny because Mike Richter and Adam Graves, anytime they make speaking engagements, whether it's at something like this or just a charity event, they always have it where Richter goes after Graves just because that's the way it goes, and Richter always then complains, jokingly complains, saying, I can't ever get a word in edgewise because Graves always goes first.
Yeah.
So you guys got to follow it back and forth a little bit.
Well, yeah, but we didn't plan it like those two did, probably. But in any event, I think it's just a common courtesy wherever I am, and I've done this before. You always ask, would you rather go before me or whatnot? Because sometimes the organizers have never really met us. They just know us by name. And so it's not a choice made by character or comfort, because those, as long as you've done speaking engagements, there's always a nervousness about it, and you want to be in a comfort zone when you get up in front of people, mostly to be able to tell the story you want to tell.
Were you in a comfort zone when the Islanders came to you and said, listen, we want you to be the one to take over the captaincy from Ed?
Oh my God, yes, I was. There was that period where Clark Gillies was the captain, and he really had a very difficult year that year. He'd gone for like 38 goals. He was like scoring at a pace of maybe not even 20. And he announced it. It was Clarky who had a team meeting and basically said, look guys, I just don't want to have to deal with this and the game. So, then it went to management. And at that point, they made the decision and asked me if I would, take on the role. And I said, absolutely. Given the fact that Jean Béliveau of the Montreal Canadiens was my hero, and he wore the captain number for so many years for the Canadiens, I said, absolutely. I think I can handle it, and I'd be very proud to be captain of this team. And then we went on to win 4 consecutive Stanley Cups.
Well, I mean, 4 consecutive Stanley Cups, 19 consecutive series wins, records that won't ever get approached, at least probably won't ever get approached with the 4 Cups thing. But in regards to everything else, don't want to take up too much of your time right now, so we're just going to end it off with this. You had a great career, both on the ice, in the broadcast booth.
Yeah.
Tonight you went in with a great class. You went in with your captain, as you just called him, and you went in video-wise with your longtime defense partner, Ken Morrow, who unfortunately couldn't be here last minute. What does that speak to you, knowing that you were able to be with everyone for this one special night?
You know, it doesn't happen very often. You know, we get invited to dinners and stuff like that, but I tell you honestly, I'm a little bit of a homebody. You know, I like to stay in Florida. You know, I like to go fishing, get in my boat, and off I go. But this was a pretty special event. Knowing Kenny was going to be honored, Eddie Westphal was going to be here, and I just thought that I have a particular kinship to New York State. I mean, when I was 19, I came here. When I was 17, I used to leave Canada and go across to Ogdensburg to drink beer. So I have this great relationship with New York State, and I thought, for sure, it's a fun weekend for me, and I'm glad I came.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another report from the New York State Hockey Hall of Fame induction class of 2024. I'm Matthew Blittner with Denis Potvin saying, Dennis, congratulations again and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Well, thank you, and I'd love to be a member of the New York State Hall of Fame.